I hope that you all are doing well. It's a glorious day. I hope you have a praise report at the end of the day because you got up and you're well and you know what you're doing. You're moving and grooving and doing your thing. So much stuff is going on. Oh, you can see so much stuff is going on in the world, and we need some happy. I need some happy, and I think we all need some happy. And hopefully, we're gonna have happy today. And this I just realized, well, I didn't just realize. Okay, he done just walked all into the shot and everything. But he's so sweet. Thank you, baby. At first I get hot, then I get cold. This is what happens when when you get to a certain age. Things start happening to your body, and you just be trying to, okay, can I do this? Can I actually do this? And sometimes you think you can do it, and your body won't do it. What? Oh, hey, and this is why we're gonna have us some happy today. Hey, Jeffrey,
you look great.
So do you. What did you do? Did you put on a nice shirt for me and everything? We clean up nice, huh?
Absolutely.
This is. Wait, can you get a little closer to the mic? Oh, no, I know what I could do. Can I pot you up a little bit? Okay.
Am I good?
Yeah, you're good. You're good to go, baby. Yes, you are.
How's that?
And it's so good to see your bright and happy face. You are doing so many wonderful things in the community and bitten off. I mean, you trying to eat an elephant one bite at a time with your nonprofit Doors of Change. We're going to talk about all of that. First, tell us about Jeffrey. Tell us about when you were like 11, 12 years old. What were you doing? What was your life?
What I was doing at 11 or 12 years old is I was a competitive figure skater for 10 years. And I trained about 8 hours a day. And that taught me the lessons in life to be successful in whatever I did, by the lessons I learned from, competing, from training, being persistent, consistent, etc. And those are the same things that I teach the homeless kids I work with for the last 23 years. Because if they are hard workers and they work hard and they do the right thing over and over and over again with integrity, they will succeed. And we've had hundreds of them that have.
Yes, you have. Now, that's something I didn't know about you, that you were a figure skater. What got you into figure skating?
My mom got a lesson for me, which I had no idea she was going to do with our family friends. And I excelled in it quickly. And I never thought I'd be a figure skater, but I did it for 10 years and I got up to the national level. And the most important thing I did is it taught me the importance of dedication and goal setting. And that's exactly what I teach the homeless kids. You have to have goals. You have to work hard. You have to be persistent and consistent. And so that's why a lot of our kids that do what we suggest succeed, because they do the right things and long enough for them to succeed.
I like the way that you said we suggest, because oftentimes adults will talk at kids and talk down to them like they don't really understand. You give suggestions, you give guidance, you give direction. And a lot of these kids just don't have any direction. And when you got to think about it, we always, when you see, especially the young kids and the veterans, these are two words that just don't even make sense to me. Homeless veterans and homeless families. It's just too much. And, people having these kids, and they kind of like throw them away. I guess they don't think they're going to grow up. A lot of people have babies like an accessory. And then when they start walking and talking, they don't have time for them. Yes. And then when you look at, all this access to the internet, to me, it's shutting them off even more. When you see them, what made you say, because this is a big thing, Jeffrey, we got a home, 4.2 million kids are homeless in this country. That just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
What made you say, well, let me go in here? I mean, because it's a good thing you're good looking, because you got to be kind of, whoa, to say, I'm getting ready to go in here and not just eat an elephant one bite at a time. I'm getting ready to take over a herd, because and we can do something about this.
Yes.
This does not have to happen.
Yes.
When did you know that this was going to be your calling, your second calling?
Well, the biggest thing I've learned is that people have no idea the severity of the homeless youth issue in America today. 3 years ago, it was 3.6 million kids. Now it's 4.2 million kids are homeless in America. And I found out about this because I decided to make a difference to try and give back to help youth, because the youth, I felt, were making the wrong decisions. They were killing each other. The Columbine Santee shooting happened and the escalation of violence continued. I said, let me find an organization that is empowering kids to make better choices, they're making the wrong choices. They're killing each other. And so I went on an outreach one night. I didn't even know there were homeless kids in our community, but people said there's homeless kids. You should go on this outreach. And I went on outreach one evening, and that outreach experience, literally, Mother Love, it changed my life. That evening, I said, I'm going to help these kids, get them off the streets, and help them to have a better life for themselves with hard work. They have to work hard. There's nothing for free. You have to work hard. But people always say, why are there homeless kids? There's a lot of misconceptions about they're homeless kids. 90% of the youth we work with for 23 years are homeless because they don't want to be homeless. They're homeless because they have to be homeless. Their parents are mentally ill. They're drug addicts. They're alcoholics. If they're LGBTQ plus and they come out to their parents,
don't even get 40%. Don't even get me started.
40% are homeless.
How do you keep your child out? I don't get that part. That part right there, Jeffrey. That part right there. This is your child. These are your children. Yep. These are all of our children. And I say this all the time, and it's just really when kids don't get their mother love and their father love where they need to get it from, they're gonna go to somebody else who's gonna guide them in a direction. Whether they're the drug dealers, whether they trafficking young girls, and people don't understand how devastating sex trafficking is in the state of California. Yep. I would have never thought San Diego is like the hub of sex trafficking.
Because of Tijuana, because of the border.
It just doesn't matter. And if we don't hold on to them, we don't hold on to our future. And that's what people don't seem to get. Okay, I know they might not believe this, but we were children at one time. We just were not dropped in here on our head and became grown-ups. Somebody guided and directed us. A lot of somebody's guided and directed me, kept us on the straight and narrow. Our scariest thing was when our mother would say, oh, that's how you're going to act. Wait till your father gets home.
Yeah.
I'm like, can't you just beat me now? Can't you do? Because he not going to, she said, if I hit you, I'm going to kill you. Wait till your daddy come home because he's not going to be mad at you. And you still getting your butt tapped. And that, they say, oh, now you could go to jail for that. But I'm like, okay, if I don't discipline my children, somebody's going to discipline them and somebody's going to guide them in the wrong direction. And that's where you come in. One day, one time, changed your whole life. Yeah. And talk about creating this, the doors of change. I just love the title of that.
Sure. Well, the first thing it's important that people realize is that these kids don't want to be homeless. Mm-hmm. And they're on the streets from 12 years old to 24 years old. All right. These kids don't trust anybody because their parents were dysfunctional, and anybody that they find in the streets are going to take advantage of them. So they don't know who to trust. So the number one thing we had to do is build trust very quickly. Mm-hmm. If they trust you, they want to get help. They just don't know who to trust. Mm-hmm. And so we have an award-winning program now. It's called the Homeless Youth Advocacy Program. We're like advocates for these kids. Mm-hmm. We are literally like their surrogate parents because they don't have parents that they can trust, that they can ask for help. And so we take them to appointments to get their IDs, to get their license, to be able to go and sign up for college. All these things that a parent usually does, these kids have no one. And so by responding to them quickly, when they call us, we pick up the phone very quickly and we ask them, can we assess you? If we assess you, we can help you the most by finding out what your needs are, because everybody's different.
Right.
And once they give us the approval that we can assess them, we go through what's called the HMIS protocol, which is a county protocol, and it's a state protocol that when kids are homeless, we interview them and we actually input all the information into the HMIS system so that anybody that's working with these youth can access this system and see where they are. Mm-hmm. If they need housing, we can get them housing, etc. So the key is to build trust quickly.
First.
That's the first thing they won't ask you.
When they're coming from a pick that environment, people and parents and sisters and brothers and siblings can be very, very cruel to each other.
Yes.
And, and when you talk about the trust factor, I couldn't even imagine what these kids are going through now to feel like when you can't trust your own family, when you can't trust your friends, you're going to go inside. And that's why people such as yourself with the caliber of your character, who sees the need. See, you're looking out for mother love. I plan on living to be 412. And so we're going to need these babies to be able to take care of a crazy old chick like I plan on being in another 312 years.
Yeah.
And if we teach them now, teach them the right way. See, that's what you said, the right way, the right things. And everybody is not the same. And then when you put in the fact that I'm lonely, I'm sad, I'm depressed, I'm hungry.
Yes.
I don't feel like nobody's going to pay attention to me. Nobody sees me. And you see them. And when I say we're the leaders in the community who are doing a disservice when we don't step up and say, how can I help you? How can I be of service?
Mental illness is a big issue with these youth, because if they just being on the streets, they get PTSD. They get a lot of trauma. They have trauma in their house. So these kids, many of them will benefit from mental health assistance. Mm-hmm. And so we asked them, would you be okay if we helped you get a psychiatrist to look at you and evaluate you, see, do you need any medication? Do you have depression? Are you bipolar? Are you schizophrenic? Would you like to go to someone to speak to, a therapy, so that you can actually discuss your issues? They can help you. And so that's a very important thing that we do with Doors of Change, is we get them for mental health referrals to get them the help that they need. Because if they don't get their mental health right, they're not going to succeed long term. So that's one very important thing. But the second thing is following through with your word. We tell them we're going to get them something, we get them something. We might get them clothes. We might get them food. We might go and say, listen, we will get you on Medi-Cal, so you'll have insurance. Because if you go to you don't want to have several $1,000s in bills. If you have a problem, you have to go to the emergency room. A huge problem, a lot of debt you have to pay. So we get them on Medi-Cal. We do whatever we can to get them in services. Now, our goal is to get them in permanent housing. That's our goal. However, it might take several steps to get them into permanent housing.
Absolutely.
First, you have to get them in emergency housing, transitional housing, and then eventually permanent housing. So all those areas of, take time. Some kids say, I'm ready, but some kids say, whoa, I don't trust you. Let me kind of just take my time. And so what we have found is that we don't judge these kids. We love them. We don't judge them. We don't put pressure on them. We're there to help them when they ask for the help. And we follow through with our word. But because we've done this now, we just passed 2,900 homeless kids that we've actually even helped get off the streets into emergency housing, transitional housing, permanent housing, and many other resources and services that we get for them so they can have a better life with hard work.
If it were easy, Jeffrey, everybody would do it. Nobody ever said this is going to be easy. And especially when you're pretty much building this from the ground up, learning as you go, as the arbitrators in your business in Doors of Change, so you're growing and your staff is growing with these kids as they're growing up. And when Dr. Maya Angelou said something, God rest her soul, people don't care how much you know. People don't care about none of that. They don't care about how many degrees you have, what you said. They want, what they are looking for is how you make them feel. And when you make them feel good about themselves, because a lot of these kids are so filled with so much rage, they don't even know why they're angry. And then when you could getting them to talk, and to open up, that's the hard part. That's where the patience come in and the follow through, because building up that trust factor, that takes a while. And sometimes they just don't get it, or they get it and they go, well, how come, Mr. Sitcov, you love me and you take care of me, my own mother won't do it. My own dad, I don't even know who my daddy is. I mean, that's got to weigh on you as well. And that weighs on them because they feel like, well, who am I going to go to? Who can I trust?
That's exactly right. I happen to just be the quarterback. We have a huge team of angels. We have a team that in the last 2 months, 3 of our team members have been honored in the community for LGBTQ awards, for African American Success Awards, for leadership awards on the board. 3 of our staff and our team have been honored in 2 months now because they are dedicated to getting these kids off the streets into a better life. And so if people are touched by this, go to our website, doorsofchange.org. Doors is plural. doorsofchange.org. see some of the interviews of the youth on TV.
I did. Oh my God. Oh my God. So, wait a minute. That's why I said, okay, I am a waterhead. And I was listening to their stories, and you know how proud you could just see the joy and the transformation in the way that they're coming, in the way that they talk about you. And people are going to talk about you, but you got to give them something to talk about. And when they talk about doors of change and how you all have changed and continue to change their lives, because you said from 12 to 24, but it seems like it's going to go further than that. And this is not just in Los Angeles, I understand. Tell us about the other cities who have come on to the program of Doors of Change.
Well, Doors of Change is in San Diego, California. We're in the county of San Diego, California. However, we have mentored other communities that have homeless shelters in their communities and help them. And so there are many organizations in our country, thank God, that have successful organizations for homeless youth. Mm-hmm. Now, we work with transitional age youth, specifically 17 years old to 24 years old. That's the most underserved, Mother Love, of the entire homeless population, 17 to 24. Do you know why it's underserved?
Because I don't know why they're underserved. It's like they want some of the elders want to. Well, they're old enough, and they age out of the system, and they have no tools to age out. When you've been taken away from your family, for whatever the case is, drug addiction, people are in jail or whatever the case is, and you don't have a foundation, aging out. And I don't know what makes people think from 17 to 18, your body and your brain are going to know like a whole 365 days.
That's right.
And all of a sudden, you're just going to wake up and be grown and have all the answers. Yes. That's when they really need the help. But that's why you get them younger.
Yes. So number one, it's the most underserved. However, if you can get them a hand up, they have the highest rate of any age of homelessness, any age, to break the cycle of homelessness, because they have not been on the streets that long. They're not that mentally ill. They don't have that much addiction compared to 20, 30, 40 years on the streets. And because of that, if we can gain their trust and they're going to work hard, we can get them off the streets and they can be productive citizens. And so that's what we focus on, getting them all the resources that they need to help themselves. They have to work hard, but if they do that, they will succeed. We have many success stories. Can I share one of them with you?
Absolutely. Okay. Oh, we're gonna blow Doors of Change horn. What are you talking about? Yes.
Well, the one that probably I think has touched me the most, her name is Justine. And Justine, when she was 12 years old,
that's the one that brought me up. You would pick up Justine's picture. You would pick her up. Okay. Yep. Tell them story about
Justine. Her mother was an alcoholic. Her mother's boyfriend used to beat her up, drag her by her hair. And then when she was 12, he started taking her clothes off. And she said, I'm leaving. And at 12 years old, she left, shaved her head, joined a gang, and lived on the streets for 4 years in a trench coat, so they wouldn't even know she's a girl. And she survived for 4 years on the streets. When I met her, she was suicidal. And she was so depressed, she wouldn't even look at me in the eye. Do you know that our music and art program literally changed her life? Music started, but her art, her passion for art made her rise. And this is when she started doing her art. Look at the transformation.
That looks like a different girl. That really looks like a different girl. You can actually see joy in her face.
Yep.
In her eyes.
Yep. And she started actually making jewelry from our program. And she started selling the jewelry. And you know that for 15 years, she made enough money to put herself through City College, UC Santa Barbara, graduated magna cum laude at the university, and then she went to law school, and she just literally graduated law school.
Look at her. Look at you. Look at that baby. We know it can be done. We know it can be done. And she will change the world.
Yep.
When I was reading her story, I mean, I don't understand. Maybe I'm kind of loopy like that. I don't understand how you mistreat a child.
Yep.
How you mistreat your own child. And I just don't get it. And then you have, that's another issue too, because people feel, especially the girls, they feel lost. They're out here fooling around with who knows who doing what. They get pregnant, and now you got a baby having a baby.
Yep.
And you only teach what you know. A 15-year-old doesn't know what to do with the child.
Yeah.
You know, when you 15 yourself, you don't know. When you turn 30, you got a teenager.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm like I told my son, I'm not your friend. I got my own friends. You gotta make your own friend. We run the show up in here, and kids, especially teenagers, when you talk about that 17 to 24 age gap right there, and they don't know where to go, getting them early, getting them soon. Now, how do people, how do you, I mean, do you do like street surveys? Do you go out into the community?
Yes, we go on outreach. The program, the thing that I went on 23 years ago that got me involved in this is outreach. And we do outreach 4 days a week.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We actually go on the streets and find the kids. Before COVID, we used to find them.
Oh,
since
yeah.
COVID, things have changed tremendously. Kids are hitting since COVID. They don't want to get COVID. COVID's still around.
Right.
If they get COVID, they could get very sick because they have bad immune systems and they're not vaccinated. So the combination of those two is bad. So what we do is we put up these posters all over the city. And this
Helping homeless youth. Okay, it's backwards on the thing, but I can read it.
And what it does is it allows the youth to see the services we offer. Mm-hmm. And then they started calling us by the droves. And we're seeing about 125 to 150 youth per month now because they see these and call us and we respond quickly. And Joanne Newgard is our program director, and she has an amazing team, 3 full-time case managers. Mm-hmm. And Turquoise was just honored.
I love her name, Turquoise.
Turquoise was just honored in the LGBT community as the person that was recognized of helping homeless kids get off the streets. She is a phenomenal case manager, as well as Angel and all the others are. And you know something? Thank God that these people that work with us have caring hearts, because the kids, they can see right through you. If you're not being authentic, they will see right through you.
Through you and past you.
Yes.
And being on the street, it does give them a certain kind of a survival trait, because they want to get out of that.
Yes.
And some of them don't. Now, some of them don't. I mean, we've talked to some young people on the street that said, I don't want to be housed. I got the freedom to be out here. I don't want nobody telling me to take meds that make me feel funny and make me feel like I'm in a fog all the time. Right. And one of the things you brought up about the arts and the music program, when they took arts and music out of the public school system, I thought, this is going to be a hot mess. And it turned out to be, it continues to be a hot mess. Because where are they going to put that energy? And see programs like what you guys are doing. What's the guy's name? I want to say his name is Pharrell. He's a singer and a songwriter. Yes. He went to several schools, and he brought their music programs back up because he got everybody a musical instrument, everybody that want to play. And when they know that they can trust you, and they know that they can that they can put their confidence in you. That's like half the battle right there. You know,
I'm excited because we had an award-winning music and art program for 18 years, taking music and art to the streets. We saw 8,000 youth in that program. We had to stop it because of COVID, and we're going to restart it again in January. And we're so excited because that's just another dimension we're going to add to the homeless youth advocacy program, that the two programs together, it's amazing how they'll go in depth and help these kids build trust quickly and feel better about themselves when they can just be on a guitar, ukulele, mandolin, and learn a couple chords and master a chord for the first time. Do you know what it does for their self-esteem, Mother Love?
When they know that you're paying attention to them, and you job well done. I just had a vision. Just help me, Lord. I just had a vision. Just came through here. I saw a whole orchestra of youth that have been homeless, and they go around the country performing to let other people know, other kids know there is a way out. Now that might be a good idea. Just give me this much credit, but wouldn't that be something?
Listen, the music in our program is tremendous, but the most important thing is the staff that's working with these youth, that are caring staff that really think about them, not about themselves, but really want to help these youth. And the youth actually refer their friends to us because they've got such great results. Because one of the things we've expanded in over COVID since that time is that a lot of kids live in their cars right now.
Right.
So the car breaks down and they can't go to work. They're really screwed. So we have now expanded our homeless youth advocacy program to include car repair. We actually repair their cars, their transmissions, their brakes, their tires, so they can continue to go to work, to get the income to be able to live, have an apartment, let's say, and have a life. So that's one of the ways we've expanded since COVID, expand our program to help these kids so that they can get off the streets, get out of their cars, go in an apartment, but they have to have a car many times to work, to go to work. Right. And so that's what we've been doing. We've expanded into that area.
See, that is really wonderful. And teaching them a skill set. Some things you can't farm out. Right. You can't send it to a foreign country. It's got to be homegrown right here. Yes. And we're going to need mechanics. And, even with all the electric cars and everything, and the industry is changing and growing. And a lot of them could come up with their own ideas, just like she did. And she was like, I'm going to go to college. I'm going to become an attorney. I'm going to law school. Yep. I got something for y'all behind. Back up. I
got another success story to share with you, because I think it's important that your listeners and viewers can see that we're getting results. And if we're getting results and they say, something, this kind of touches me, I want to help them. Go to doorsofchange.org, make a donation of any amount. We have a thing called the Angel Team. The California Angels, they allowed us to trademark the name Angel Team. We're the only ones they've made the allowance for, because it has to do only with homeless kids. And so for $18 a month, it's not a huge amount of money, but it's enough to make a difference for us. If you get an auto pay program that every month $18 goes out from you, and we have 1,000 people giving us $18 a month, we can have another case manager to help more kids get off the streets. And that's exactly what happened with this kid right here. Tyler was on the streets when he was 12 years old. Why? His mom was a meth addict. She loved him. They had a great relationship, but she was a meth addict, and she lost all her money. And so from 12 years old until 16, he was living on the Imperial Beach Pier. And he said to me, Jeffrey, when the high tide would come up and soak me, I was freezing. I had nowhere to go. He did that for 4 years. When we met him, he was a giver. He came into the shelter that we were working with. And he kept saying, I want to help other kids. I said, this is an angel. He's thinking of others also. And so he came up to me and said, I want to be a security guard. Would Doors of Change pay for my guard card? It cost $400 at the time. And that's a lot of money, but we said, he's such a giver. He's so motivated to help. We're going to give him that guard card. Do you know, Mother Love, that he worked his way up from elite security, which is the #1 security system in San Diego for security, for the Padres, for the Chargers before when they were here, for all the concerts. They do all that. Okay. He worked his way up to the highest first time ever that a young kid was managing as a team. He was the youngest manager ever at Elite Security of 2,000 employees. He was then honored at Petco Park for Employee of the Year in front of 25,000 people because he was a hard worker. And he did what we suggested, and he kept doing it. And now he's working for AMR, which is the ambulance service, the National Ambulance Service. He's a head supervisor for them. So he's worked his way up. Now he's been self-sufficient for 17 years.
How about that? So not only are they successful, they are able to sustain their success and
that's the key.
Continue to be viable, productive members of society. And now, and because you can't save everybody, and does it get you? And do you work on maybe another solution to try to get the ones who are apprehensive that want to come in and they just don't know what to do or what to say?
That's a great question. We are open to everybody when they're ready. We don't put pressure on them. We love them. We're there for them. We will honor them and do what they request. However, eventually, those travelers that want to be gypsies are going to want to get off the streets. Okay? And so they said, I've had enough. I want to get out. I don't know how to get off the streets. So that's why we're open, and we help kids from 17 to 24 as much as they need help, as much as they want help. We're there for them. And when it's ready for them, they come and say, something, I'm ready for housing now. I want to go into, I want to get off the streets. And so that's why we've had, in the last 2 years alone now, from our Concerts of Hope, which we'll talk about, we have a concert once a year. And anybody in Southern California, Los Angeles, Riverside, Orange County, San Diego, come down on July 27th. You can take a stand that, something, it's not right to have homeless kids in our community. I'm going to take a step to help that. area, and 100% of your ticket price, I'm talking 100%, will go to get homeless kids off the streets in emergency housing, transitional housing, long-term housing, permanent housing, and get the services they need. And Casey and the Sunshine Band, by the way,
Oh, Casey,
Grammy winner, is headlining, and I'm giving you 2 tickets, Mother Love, to come down. I told you that.
that is so sweet of you. Thank you very much. I'm your boogeyman.
That's right.
That's what okay. You see, I spent all the money for singing lessons. My mother warned me about that. Go get your singing lessons and stop caterwauling. And I think that's really, really great. Now, do you do this concert? Do you do this every year?
Every year we have concerts, and people can go to our website now and get tickets. Doorsofchange.org. They start, by the way, at only $52 for lawn tickets. So anybody can afford, for $50, come and take a stand on this. 100% will go to get kids off the streets. However, you're going to hear 1 or 2 homeless kids speak at the event, and they blow your mind. Okay? Clarence was homeless when he was a young kid. At 16, I met him. He's now 35 years old. He's got 2 kids, 15 and 9 years old. They're going to be with him on stage as we honor him and the other champions, the Angel Team champions that have broken the cycle of homelessness and are going to be honored at that event. There's not going to be a dry eye in the whole place.
I carry a box of tissue with me.
Yep.
I told you I'm a waterhead. You know,
Me too.
I wish I could hide my fear. That's why I don't gamble and I go to Vegas, but I don't gamble because I've been together. What? You mean to tell me? Look what I got. Oh no, lady, get up from the table, go somewhere and just sit down and stop talking. I'm not a gambler. Besides, they have great shopping in Nevada. So yes, I'm not giving up shoe money for that. And I think that's wonderful. Now, do you, as a nonprofit, do you partner with other nonprofits and other people who are for-profits, like corporate sponsorship?
Yes. That's a great question too. Number one, during COVID, we said, listen, we're going to increase our partnerships as wide as we can to help more kids. We have 67 partnerships right now in our community with people that have to do with LGBTQ, that have to do with addiction, have to do with mental health, have to do with housing, all these different areas. We have 67 partners that we partner with, okay? Mm-hmm. We also have sponsorships, people that believe in us, that are businesses that want to get their logo out there, but also want to help and make a difference at the same time. And we've been able to raise $200,000 in sponsorships this year because we need to help more kids. And our concert now is paid for. Every dollar that's spent on tickets now will go to get kids off the streets. Anybody that comes to this event will be an angel for homeless kids, really, okay? And so I just ask you, if you're in Southern California, July 27th, it's at the Epstein Family Amphitheater at UCSD, our university. It's a beautiful outdoor amphitheater, and you're going to have a great time dancing for 2 hours, but you're going to hear kids speak that are homeless and ex-homeless kids speak. They're going to blow your mind and make your heart feel you have made a difference.
I'm telling, my heart is so full right now just having a conversation with you, and just to feel and see the passion in your eyes and how excited you get talking about these kids. And, you know, I'm sure you probably call them, like I do, I always call them my babies. You know, I know they're 40-some years old. Okay, yeah, I know. I got it.
They're my kids.
Right.
They're my kids, and they're 35 years old, some of them.
I think that's a big thing that we lost as a community, the sense of community, yes. The sense of the village. I mean, I grew up in everybody knew your business. I mean, my mother would know stuff about me even before I got home from school. And everybody looked out for everybody else's kid. We were taught, especially being girls, we were taught if anybody, you think somebody, if you feel uncomfortable, you think somebody is following you, run and holler mama. I thought that was like real crazy. And I remember my little sister, bless her heart, she was coming from the store, and she had some soda bottles in her hand when it was made out of real glass. And she was coming, and she this guy was trying to get out of his car and snatch her off the street. And she looked up and she tripped and she fell and she started screaming and running. Mama, about 15 mothers came out into the parking lot. Yeah. He could not wait to get away from them crazy women. You don't fool anybody's kids.
Well, you're bringing up a great point about community, because when you go to the Concert of Hope, We're going to have 1,500 people there. We're going to have 25 homeless youth that are there, a minimum. We're going to have another 10 to 15 ex-homeless youth that are there. They're going to be able to see how the community supports them, cares about them, wants them to have a better life, and is taking action by being there. And it's going to be, I'll tell you, people that go to our concerts of hope, we usually sell out every one of them. We've done them for 20 years. And I'll tell you something, you will not regret being there, and you're going to come up and hug me. I'll be in a tux. So you'll remember, I'll be the only one in a tux. They'll say, "Hey, I heard about you on Mother Love's, interview. Please come."
It sounds like a good time to be had by all, and especially so the kids, so that the young adults will see firsthand that they are cared for and they are worthy of being cared for. And the hardest thing here is, kids that don't feel like they have a future, in despair. I remember I went to the school over in, I can't think of the name of the school. It'll come to me. Honey, what's the name of the school? In the middle of the night, it'll come to me. And I was talking to these young girls and I was going around the room. How you doing? So what do you want to be? They're like 14, 15, 16 years old. And so I'm going around and I get to this one young lady and I said, "So have you thought about what you're going to do when you grow up?" She said, I said, "Are you making any plans?" She looked at me and she said, "Oh, Mother Love, the only thing I'm planning is my funeral." She said in that month, she had buried 5 people in her neighborhood. She's 16 years old. And you never know who's watching you. You never know. They'll tell you, I was a so-and-so and such and such. And you over there talking to so-and-so and such and such. So it's got to be something over there. And I literally had to leave the room because that just took me to the quick. Many years later, I forgot. I never forgot about the experience. So I'm going. You go like to an expo and they had the tables out, and you can walk around the tables and everything. Well, I'm walking around the tables and I'm greeting people and I'm getting ready to go. But I'm not at the LA Police Department where they got a table, right? So it's this young girl back there in uniform. Literally, Jeffrey, she jumped across the table, ran up to me, jumped in my arms, hugged me so tight. I was like, "Oh, Lord, what's wrong, baby? What's wrong?" And she was just, "Oh, my God, I didn't think I was going to never see you up close like this. I was the girl at the school, and I told you I was planning my funeral." I said, "Well, after I came back, I got her to talk to me." She said she wanted to be an LA police officer.
Yeah.
She joined a police academy. Every time I talk about it, get me with me. She joined the police academy, jumped across the table and said to me, "You made such a difference in my life."
That's right. You know what you did? You created hope. You gave her hope. And what these youth get from our program and from other ex-homeless youth that are going to be speaking at the event, they have hope that they can have a better life. They can get out of this with hard work. You do the right thing long enough. You do the right thing. Continue to do it. Don't give up. You will have a wonderful life with hard work.
And keep people around you. You got to keep good people around.
Yes.
Especially when you come from a toxic environment, and people start seeing you do well from that environment. And they got to deal with the haters. "Oh, you think you better than I am. Oh, yeah, you was down here on the street with me." And yes, and now I'm no longer on the street. Let me be an example for you to follow that you can do this.
I got another.
That's our job. That's our responsibility as adults.
What you just did, you reminded me of something I'm going to show you. I want to show you this picture. Okay? The guy right up here is Clarence.
Oh, we were talking about Clarence earlier.
Now, Clarence was homeless at 16 years old. He met his girlfriend, Shamika, at the shelter. Do you know they've been together now for 17 years? They have 2 kids. He was performing at our Concert of Hope 17 years ago. He's still doing music, and he's going to sing one song at the concert with no vulgarity. First time he said, "I've never did vulgarity before." People love the song. It's about him being homeless, and it's very powerful. He's going to be speaking at the concert. He's going to be sharing how he broke the cycle for 17 years. He's now in charge of landscaping for the city of Chula Vista. He wants to be a manager there. He's been there for 6 years, making a good income. He's showing his kids about the power of hard work and being in integrity. He's a great dad, and his wife is a wonderful mother. And they're just 2 of the ex-homeless youth that we work with that bring hope to others that you can have it also.
And that's what's important. There's a movement around the world. You see her, you can be her. You
Yeah.
see him, you can be him.
Yeah.
They will emulate what you teach them. When you're teaching them good things, they'll remember that. One of the things that I think that a lot of families, unfortunately, and they never want to talk about this. They never want to talk about finances. They don't
Yep.
want to talk to their kids about credit. They don't want to talk to their kids about fiscal responsibility. I had to explain to our son, sweetie, I'm not chewing green paper and drinking green ink and going in the bathroom rolling out $100 bills. This is not what I'm doing. And he goes, well, you could just go to the wall. Remember when ATMs were first the thing? Well, you could just go to the wall and put your card and hit them digits and it'll come out. I'm like, oh, it's time to sit this child down. He needs to really understand what is going on fiscally. And a lot of people don't. My mother did not have a bank account until she was like in her 50s. And I said, Mama, why you didn't get a bank account? Because I got 6 kids to feed. Are you kidding me? I ain't got time to go to the bank. One day she said she got up and it was 6 of us and 4 of us were graduating. I was graduating from high school. My sister was graduating from college. And my 2 brothers, they were graduating from junior high school. She said, I ain't even put my foot on the floor, and just $600 just evaporated, going right out the door.
Yep. We teach these kids the importance of saving, because no matter what you make, put some money to the side. Do you know that Clarence did that? He had over $10,000 saved in the bank. Matthew, one of our other kids, he saved over $20,000 and put him through college. He's now a computer engineer. And he makes over $100,000 a year in Northern California. He's got a young kid, a son, a 2-year-old son, Quinn. And you know something? He's a great father. He's a role model. There's another one of our kids that learned the importance of saving. They save, put it away, because they need it for emergencies.
Right.
And it allowed him to go to school. It allowed Clarence to have his family of 4 to be off the streets now for 17 years.
See, that in and of itself, your miracle workers. And we all pool our resources together. We can all do better with our children and by our children.
Yes.
I love to talk. And, sometimes you see some of these kids and the light is gone out of their eyes.
Yes.
When you talk about hope, there's no hope in them. And that's our responsibility to help them. No, we can handhold them to a certain point. It's like when you're teaching the kid how to ride a bike, eventually you're going to have to let go of that bike and let that kid pedal.
That's right. That's what we call it, the concert of hope. It's about hope. And please come July 27th, UCSD Epstein Family Amphitheater. Mother Love is going to be there. She's getting 2 tickets.
Lord, so you just going to put me on blast, so now I have to be there, and I'll show up, and then I show up and show out. That's why they don't let me out by myself too much. Because
no problem.
I'm all about having a good time.
Yes.
And that's what we do.
Again, people always ask me, how can I help? What can I do to help? Go to the website, doorsofchange.org, look at the interviews, look at all the stuff that's down there. And if you're touched, make a donation of any amount. Number 1, come to the concert. If you like memorabilia, music memorabilia, we have a lot of music memorabilia that we've sold over the years. Billy Joel, Elton John. I mean, we're talking Tony Bennett. We're talking Etta James, Buddy Guy, the Rolling Stones.
See, them youngsters don't know anything about them legends that you just rattled off. They don't know anything about these legends. I'm like, really? And you have to think about it. We're not. We have 4 grandchildren, and they're teenagers and adults now. But when they were kids, they always thought Barack Obama was supposed to be the president forever. That was the only president that they knew.
Sure.
For 8 years.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, that's not how it works. That's how we got them involved in, understanding the political arena and how important their vote is. One of the things they do is when they turn 18. They go down to the voter registration office and they register to vote.
Yes.
And don't just register, go and vote, because our voices are strong together. We can do, everybody always thinks you can throw money at stuff. Yeah, you can. We also need your time and energy and your passion and your compassion. And some of these kids and some adults that are on the street, this one lady told me one time, she said, I was doing a show someplace and I asked my husband to go get me something. And I said, okay, thank you. And she said, you are so polite to him. And it blew me away. I'm like, that's my husband. She said, my husband has never, ever said thank you to me. And I was like, oh, that's on you, because you should have told him that long time ago.
Right.
You can't wait till you 40 years in and decide, oh, now I'm going to be polite. It doesn't work like that.
What you're talking about is self-love. These youth that we work with, the more that they succeed in their job, the more they succeed in helping themselves feel better about themselves, they're going to succeed in life. They're going to be good role models for other people. But it comes back to self-love. And we really do whatever we can with music and art, with mentoring them, with doing whatever we can to give them the skills that their parents did not give them.
Because a lot of times, Jeffrey, we got to, just call this song exactly what it is. A lot of them don't know. You cannot teach what you don't know.
That's
and you
right.
can see it generationally. You can see the toxicity. Well, my mother was like this. My mother she was not a hugger. So why do I need to hug you? I'm all right. And I'm sitting up here looking at, well, why your face all balled up like you smelling something foul? You always face all tuned up. I'm like, they're hurting on the inside too.
Yes.
And I got some friends like this. Y'all know who you are, that they have the kids at a very young age. Yeah. And then when they get like 15, 16, then the mamas want to go out and run up and down the street because you messed up my life. No, you did that. That was your decision. How you going to blame a child for that?
Right.
We have to take responsibility for the actions that we do and the non-action and the inaction. And we have to say, remember when you were growing up, did you grow up in California?
Buffalo, New York.
Oh, so see, you gonna understand what I'm saying. Like I said earlier, we didn't play with our parents. No. Remember when your mother could just look at you, and you could just feel her piercing through your face, and it feel like a hole, and you like she just I feel like she burning a hole, and all she could do. They don't have that anymore. See, that's where mother love come in, because I'm an old school mother. That's it. I'm not going to be afraid of teenagers. I'm going to check you when you need to be checked, because somebody need to help keep you in order. I'm in a drugstore one day, and I hear all this cussing and fussing, and, I'm like, what the? I go around the teenagers. They must have been about 13, 14 years. I said, I snatched one of them up. I keep a good attorney on retainer. I said, boy, what is wrong with you? Do you know your parents would be so embarrassed to hear you out here talking like that? And he was like that. He's, my mother, don't you? And his little girlfriend, he was talking, that's mother love. Tightened up just like that. I said, you don't know who I know. Yeah, I might know your mama. And when I say I'm going to tell her about you. He went out, he said, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And we cannot as adults be afraid of our children. Yeah. You can't have somebody in your house and you don't know what they're doing. I mean, could you imagine saying to your mother, where you going, Jeffrey? Out. With who? Friends. Where you going? Why? See, that's when this part of your face will be on this part of your face.
I'll tell you, I have such respect for so many of the youth that we work with that are homeless, because they had no one to really instruct them on what to do and how to do it. But they pick them up by their bootstraps, and they're working hard, and they're learning how to be a good person. They're learning to be role models for other kids to follow. They're holding their jobs long term. They're going to college. They're getting trades. They're doing whatever they have to do to succeed, to be self-sufficient and stay off the streets permanently. And that's what our goal is. Doorsofchange.org. In the last 3 years alone, we've housed 849 youth in the emergency shelter, temporary housing, transitional housing, permanent housing, get all the different resources that they need, psychological resources, emotional resources, resources for addiction, for domestic violence, for all different areas. We help them get the skills that they need to move on and so they can have a life that they're proud of. Right. And we need your help, folks, because that's the age group that can get off the streets.
Right.
You have an opportunity to come July 27th and be a part of the transition, be a part of the making the solution a better solution now.
And you're continuously working on this. You've been doing this for over 20 years. Where would you like to see Doors of Change go and grow over this, say maybe the next 5-7 years?
It's a great question. We find that concerts is a way that people love to go to hear music, but get the message of homeless youth. And they are educated about the homeless youth issue. So we're going to go from a 1,500 venue, which we have now, to a 3,600 venue, almost triple the size, to get the word out more, to raise more money, get more case managers, more program directors, help more kids get off the streets, to get this, this crazy thing about homelessness get this around the other side so it's better in the future.
For all of us, it will
For
help
all of
all of us, you know. And one of the big things that it cuts down on is crime.
Yeah.
Because they don't feel like they have to go out here and hurt somebody else or take somebody else's property, because now they know what it's like. They know
Exactly.
what it's like to do without. You know, they know what it's like to, you don't know if you're going to get another meal today or next week or whatever that is. See, that's if I'm fearful of anything, is my God, I'm scared of God. I'm still scared of my mother, because I know her spirit is someplace. You know how you could feel him, and they be, okay, I hear you.
Yes.
Used to tell me, I hear you thinking, and I believe her.
To answer your question, though, my goal is to have Doors of Change continue for another 25 more years.
Mm-hmm.
We're just hitting our 23rd anniversary, July 4th. Hopefully another 25 more years of getting kids off the streets. That's what I want. That's why the angel team of the $18 a month or $20 a month or $50 a month, by people giving us monthly donations, it makes such a difference, so we can expand and help more kids have a better life with hard work.
And let me ask you this too, because when you're coming from such a toxic environment, do you see, I don't want to say they're learning disabilities, but do you see some of them that, you know, really don't really understand how to read and write and how to comprehend?
No, you know, some of our kids don't have their GEDs, so we get them their GEDs. Okay. We get them into community colleges. We get them into learning a trade to make money being an electrician or a carpenter or auto mechanic or whatever it is that is their passion. We want them to help themselves so they can have freedom, so they can have freedom of choice, so they can live a life they can be proud of. And it takes a lot of work.
Yes,
but
it does.
One youth at a time we're helping. And that's why, with your help, if you are touched by this and you hear this and you've seen this and you don't take action, it doesn't mean a damn bit of good.
You could talk pretty, but like they used to tell us, money talk and BS walk.
Action.
That's what it is. It's about action. And you know, people think, oh, $18, $20, oh, that's not a big deal. But like you said, if all of us are pitching in $20 every month, you know, you can make a difference. And the little things turn into big things. You know, a small foundation can grow into a bigger foundation. And I want to ask you about, because you talk about the case managers and them being compassionate. What are the criteria for you all to become a case manager? What are you looking for?
Managers are, all of them have extensive training over several years of dealing with homeless youth. They need trauma-informed care training. There's a lot of trauma these kids go through, and there's special training that you have to learn on how to handle them and work with them and have respect for them and give them the leeway that they need and not talk down on them and many, many things. So we have, any of our case managers have several years experience in trauma-informed care and things like that, other trainings that, you know, these kids, even though they look like normal kids, they have a lot of issues because of their history, because they've been beaten, they've been raped, they've been molested, they've been thrown on the streets because they're gay. You know, there's a lot of issues that they have. And so we have learned to hire people with a lot of experience because we want the best results as quick as possible. And that's why we're breaking records. And we need more kids off the streets. Doorsofchange.org. Please help us. Help an organization in your community that's working with homeless kids. Google it. Who's working in Riverside? Who's working in Orange County? Who's working in LA? Support them, but also help us, because we have a successful template that works. We need to help more kids have a better life, and we really appreciate that help.
And that's what's important, us to get back into, to grow as a community and as a global community. First, we got to get our stuff together here in the United States and Montana.
Yes, we do.
We got to get our act together here. You know, I know with all the craziness that's going on in the world, it's enough to make my head spin. And I'm a pretty smart chick. So you got to know, you know, it's important to be around people who are like-minded. You don't have to like kiss their behind to get along with them, but be on the same, at least be in the same book.
Yes.
We can all get in the same book. We might not be on the same page. Like our friend said the other day, we all don't wake up at the same time. Some of us take us a while to wake up, but when we do get woke, you know, we can do more positive things. So talk about the concert. This went by so fast. Can you believe it?
We have a VIP party that's going to have 300 people at it. It's $325 a person to go to, and includes being at the VIP party and also getting the best concert seats for the concert. So if someone can afford that, great. If they can't, do a $50 $52 for a lawn seat. Okay. If you want to really go, get $112 for a regular seat, or $88 for a regular seat. I'm giving you 2 VIP tickets.
Me?
Are you going to come?
Oh, look, and listen, I clean up real nice.
Yes, you do.
I'm telling you, you are just such a joy, and the work that you're doing is so needed. I thank you so much for just having the compassion, because a lot of people would have just walked away because it's too big. That's when you know you got to get in there and do it. When it's too big and you can't do it yourself, you got to have a great idea. Now we got to get people behind us, and the people that you have behind you. Again, doorsofchange.org. You can donate. You can become a monthly donor, and if you like how could you not like the program? I mean, you're saving somebody else's life who might save your life one day. You just never know. I was watching this TV program, and it was a firefighter who had they were going to the fire, and there was a pregnant woman, and she could not, they were trying to get her out. Her water breaks on the gurney. And I thought it was hilarious. It takes her to tell the story. Well, fast forward maybe 25 years later, the baby who he helped deliver, she became a firefighter.
Wow, wonderful. Wonderful. Hey, listen, if people hear this and come to the concert, please come up and say hello to me, and let me know where you found out about this. And Mother Love, I look forward to meeting you face to face. Get the information. Your name's gonna be at will call.
Okay, and it'll be okay. So that'd be my husband. He have to come with me. I have to have a handler.
That's great.
But I'm there to have fun. I'm there to encourage people to come. You're always looking for something to do. People say they're bored. I don't know what to do. This is what you can do. You can refer people to Doors of Change. You can donate to Doors of Change. Get you a ticket to come see Casey and the Sunshine Band. Who else is going to be on the bill?
That's it. And they've sold 100 million copies of their CDs. They've had 5 #1 hits. 5.
I know all of them. I know all of them.
Oh, yeah.
People, especially in our neighborhood, we just knew he was black. Well, he an honorary black guy. That's an honorary black man. That's what they do. And I've seen them live before, and they're show out.
They're fun. Well, you're going to be able to see firsthand what you're doing, helping us get the word out. Absolutely. You're going to hear the kids speak. You're going to hear 2 or 3 kids speak. And Mother Love, you're going to see that what your love is doing to give out there is going to help more kids get off the streets. Doorsofchange.org.
And just let you know, as long as I'm here, you got a platform.
Thank you.
Your team has a platform, because this is not like a fly-by-night thing. And the closer that we get to it, I would like to be able to, you bring on, come on again and bring some of the, why we keep calling them kids, bring some of the kids on with you, and, to share their story so they can actually, see and hear, and let them know that this is a platform for them as well.
I would love that. And they would love that.
That's what you do. I mean, you've got a lot of joy in it, and that can weigh you down. Where do you go to get respite care?
I go for concerts. I love music. I love to dance, and I love to travel. And so I take time off to do that so I can replenish myself, so I can give more and help more kids. But you got to take some time for yourself so you don't burn out.
Self-preservation is the first law of nature. If I don't take care of me, ain't nowhere in the world I'm going to be able to take care of you.
That's right.
So I had to do a psychological test one time. I was getting something done. I was applying for something, and I had to do a psychological test. And it was pretty extensive, and I was very honest. And then what it said was, in my review, was she thinks and speaks of herself very highly. I said, so what's the problem with that? I'm like, okay, yeah, if I don't think I'm all that in the chip factory, how am I going to get you to think, no, I'm all that in the chip factory? Exactly. And like you said, they could tell genuine, they can tell authenticity, and they could smell fake people. Jeffrey Sitcov, it has been my absolute pleasure and honor to chat with you today, and know that I am always here for you. We love you to pieces. And remember, babies, you can catch Mother Love on all the platforms, social media. You're on all the platforms, aren't you, Jeffrey, with Doors of Change?
Facebook and Instagram.
Facebook and Instagram. Me too. I'm on all of them. And everything. And I remember this, babies, no matter how big or tall, short or small, thick or thin, it matters not what skin you're in. Everybody needs some Mother Love now and then. Peace, babies. That's my new friend. Don't it seem like we've been knowing each other for a while?
Yes, it does.
See, that's because God don't make junk. And he don't have me with people that I'm not supposed to be with. I love your face.
Thank you, dear. I look forward to meeting you.
Oh, we're gonna have a